I had a goal to publish my book. I worked very hard to get this book, and I was in a flow, truly engaged in my work while I was writing the book. Now, it was a journey, and it was a journey, and I had many pleasant and meaningful moments. So don't take me wrong; there were many pleasant and meaningful moments while I was also in a flow a lot of time while writing a book. And that being in a flow, that was my happiness, right? That the meaning, what's going to happen at the end when this comes out, that was my happiness. Finding, of course, a little pleasure and the meaning and the whole journey. Now, the book is published, and although that was the end goal, as I said, and I'm very happy that I achieved it, but, you know, I kind of miss my journey. You know, knowing that made me happy to become even happier. So I'm creating another journey, and that's this program on positive psychology. That also gives me all three categories of happiness, if you will. Gives me pleasure, right, as I create this. It gives me the meaning. You know, it's a huge meaning, creating this and bringing science to the world. And I will explain later on. You'll hear about my friend Dr. Chad Barton. And also, it gives me full engagement in flow. I am fully in the flow. And this brings me happiness. So, even Sonia Lubomirsky, in the New York Times article, cautions us to pursue happiness, but in moderation. I attached that short article as well for you to read and review. And you'll see a lot of articles and exercises throughout this program. So just check. If I don't mention it, just please check, and if you're interested, just do a little more reading, a little more studying what's going on. So, although we don't have much time in this program to discuss, I do want to mention something very important, and that is the science of neuroplasticity. Now, have you heard of it? Science of neuroplasticity? Okay. If so, it's great. If not, you may want to extend your knowledge on neuroplasticity and neuroscience. And basically what it is, it proves more and more that depending on what we do every day, our brain changes, physically changes. And it is not as we used to think, until we're teenagers, but rather until the day we die. Now think about it. Everything we do, everything literally changes our brain. So we create this new neural pathway in our brain that actually helps the brain to perform certain activities without spending much energy. William James, in his book, The Principles of Psychology, that was published in 1890, said this: "The brain matter is plastic." End of quote. It was an incredible discovery, and I just love William James's work. Science now shows that the brain is moldable at any stage of our life. So again, it's not only when we are young, but for as long as we live. Research in the area of neuroplasticity shows that changes in behavior can actually cause radical and lasting changes in the makeup of many different parts of our brain. Can you believe that? Change in our behavior can actually cause different, makeup in our brain. This is just incredible. So that just by changing our behavior, we are actually putting into the process the creation of new neural pathway that radically alter our brains. Incredible. So, the research conducted by Lisa Blackwell of Columbia University and Kali Tsinzenwivsky, sorry if I don't pronounce it correctly, Kali, and Carol Dweck, of course, from Stanford University, shows that when students are taught neuroplasticity, so basically they were just taught that how their brain will change as a result of their actions, they perform significantly better in their studies. Imagine, so just by knowing that our brain is plastic will help us produce better results in life and in our case, become happier. So for you, just by knowing that your brain changes and it's plastic, I believe this fact itself, just like it helped many kids, may help you as well. So why something like this is not common knowledge? Just incredible. Don't understand why. We said earlier that research by Sonia Lubomirsky shows that 40% of our happiness is subject to self-control and behavior, right? Remember we said 50% is genetic and only 10% is based on life circumstances, so that leaves 40%. Now again, these are average figures and individual differences do of course play a part. However, the suggestion that behavior plays such a large role in the human experience, gives us much to be positive about. So we can actually change 40% or more of our lives just by changing our behavior. Let me say that again. We can actually change 40% or so of our life just by changing our behavior. So how does neuroplasticity relate to happiness? By changing our habits and behavior, we are, in effect, changing our neural makeup. Forming new habits allows new neural pathway to develop in our brain, really altering the brain significantly. Neuroplasticity, although a really complicated research area, is a fundamental concept that can be simply explained. The best explanation I have found was put forward by neuroscientist Alvaro Pascual-Leon, who basically says the brain is plastic, not elastic. An elastic band is stretched and always goes back to this original form, but the plastic brain is altered by every encounter and every situation. It keeps changing. End of quote. So let's recap. In this lesson, we learned a definition of happiness, and it's three parts if you recall. There was a pleasure, meaning, and engagement or flow. We also learned that we don't want to chase happiness like the kids do when we take them to a trip. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? No, but rather to take this journey to the happiness. Apply some of the tools we are going to learn, and happiness will come as a byproduct of just doing these exercises. And when it comes to our life and happiness, we said that 50% are genes, genetic, 10% are life circumstances, and about 40% is ours to do what we want to do with it. We can even stretch that to a higher level, as we mentioned earlier. Now, we learn about the neuroplasticity and how our brain changes every day, depending on what we do. Kids, when they were told this fact about the brain, they performed better in school. So let's keep changing our brain in a positive way and become even happier.